So, picture this. In just 2 months after its August 2024 release, a game has raked in over $900 million, more than 10 times its development cost. And if that wasn't impressive enough, when the trailer first dropped back in 2020, it made the entire gaming world freeze. It caused such a frenzy that over 10,000 people applied to work at the studio. This sensation didn't come from a new EA or Ubisoft title, but from a small, relatively unknown Chinese studio, Game Science. This wasn't just another indie game. Black Myth Wukong looked like the next big thing. Unreal graphics, brutal combat, and a story steeped in rich Chinese mythology, something rarely seen at this level. The trailer's impact was a key reason the game went viral, but we'll talk about that later. Suddenly, this underdog studio, with barely any name recognition, became a global sensation. So what's their secret? And why is Black Myth Wukong so special? Today on Binge History, we are exploring how this small Chinese studio is shaking up the entire gaming world. To really understand Black Myth Wukong, we need to start with the studio behind it, Game Science. Founded in 2014 in Shenzhen, China, the studio was born out of frustration. Led by Feng Ji, 7 ex-Tencent employees left the corporate giant. They had previously worked on Asuda Online, a role-playing game based on the legend of Wukong, an online novel adapted from Journey to the West. But Tencent, the Chinese tech titan, was all about fast returns and profit-driven mobile games. For Feng Ji and his team, that just wasn't enough. They were tired of the corporate grind, the lack of creative freedom, and the fear that they couldn't pursue the ambitious, culturally significant projects they dreamed of. For them, making games was about more than profits. It was about pushing boundaries and telling stories that mattered. So what did they do? They walked away. Leaving the stability of one of the world's biggest gaming companies was a bold move. But it was driven by their passion for creative freedom. They didn't want to churn out just another mobile game. After all, China's gaming market has been heavily saturated with mobile games for years, with very few making a global impact. Instead, they decided to go big, really big. While most small studios might play it safe, Game Science went all in. After releasing just 2 mobile games, they set their sights on the top. Feng Ji and his team wanted to create a game that could stand alongside the world's best, one that was deeply rooted in Chinese culture, but designed with modern, global appeal. And that's how Black Myth Wukong was born. Black Myth Wukong is an action RPG based on one of the most famous pieces of Chinese literature, Journey to the West. If you're unfamiliar with the story, it's a 16th century Chinese novel by Wu Cheng-en, and it's regarded as one of the 4 great classical novels of Chinese literature. But even if you haven't read the book, you've likely heard of its central character, Sun Wukong, the mischievous, powerful Monkey King. Want a video about the novel? Drop a comment below to let us know. And don't forget to subscribe to Binge History for more fascinating history stories. So, who exactly is Sun Wukong? He's no ordinary monkey. Born from a magical stone, he has extraordinary strength, the ability to shapeshift into 72 forms, and can leap great distances in a single bound. He's also a master of martial arts, and wields a magical staff, the Rui Jingu Bang, which changes size at his command. And let's not forget his trickster personality. He's constantly outsmarting gods, demons, although he was defeated by Buddha himself in a battle. His rebellious nature often gets him into trouble, but his heart is always in the right place. Now, if you think Wukong's influence ends with ancient texts, think again. He's actually the inspiration behind one of the most beloved characters in global pop culture, Son Goku from Dragon Ball. From Goku's superhuman abilities and golden monkey-tailed form to his cloud-riding adventures, it's all a nod to the Monkey King's legendary status. Wukong isn't just a Chinese icon. He's basically the OG of world mythology. But here's the secret sauce to Game Science's success, and it's brilliantly simple. They took this legendary figure from Chinese mythology and turned him into a AAA game protagonist. It's fresh, exciting, and new. By tapping into China's cultural roots while offering a high-energy modern RPG experience, they've created something special for both domestic and international players. Players get to explore a world filled with mystical folklore, while battling enemies with jaw-dropping combat mechanics. So while Journey to the West has seen countless adaptations across movies, TV shows, and games, Game Science took it a step further. They wanted to immerse you in a Chinese mythological world with jaw-dropping visuals and gameplay that keeps you on the edge of your seat. And with a protagonist like Sun Wukong, the possibilities are truly limitless. So how did they pull it off? Well, it wasn't easy. Game Science started small, just a handful of developers with a dream. They didn't have the massive resources of AAA studios like Ubisoft or Rockstar Games, but what they did have was passion. Passion to create something truly special, and to make that dream a reality, they turned to one of the most powerful tools in gaming, Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 was a game changer. It gave them the technical power to create visuals that are usually only possible for the biggest studios. With this engine, they brought Black Myth Wukong to life in a way that blew everyone's minds. From the realistic movement of Wukong's fur during battles to the lifelike environments that seem to breathe and shift as you explore, everything feels rich, detailed, and alive. Honestly, when the first trailer dropped, people thought it was too good to be true. But Game Science proved them wrong. And the gameplay is just as ambitious as the visuals. Imagine Dark Souls meets Sekiro with a twist of Chinese mythology. It's fast, brutal, and incredibly satisfying. And the combat? You don't just button mash your way to victory. You have to think and strategize. And let's not forget Wukong's shape-shifting abilities. One moment you're a towering beast smashing enemies. The next, you're a mosquito zipping around, dodging attacks. Who knew a mosquito could be so deadly? Every fight feels fresh and intense. You can't rely just on brute strength or reflexes. You have to use your head. But here's the thing. Great gameplay and stunning visuals can only take you so far. The real magic happened when Game Science dropped that first trailer. In gaming, first impressions are everything. And when that trailer hit, the world took notice. The timing couldn't have been better. It was right in the middle of the global pandemic, when we were all desperate for something exciting. Black Myth Wukong gave us exactly that. The trailer went viral, racking up millions of views, shares, and retweets. Overnight, Game Science went from an unknown studio to the talk of the gaming world. But it didn't stop with the fans. The trailer sparked a hiring frenzy. Game Science received over 10,000 resumes, some from AAA studios, and even applicants from outside China willing to pay for their own visas. People were literally showing up at their door the day after the trailer dropped, asking for jobs. The team grew from 30 to 140 employees, all thanks to that viral moment. And it wasn't just Chinese gamers getting hyped. Black Myth crossed borders, getting players from the US, Europe, and Japan excited. Why? Because besides promising a legendary story with modern, universally appealing gameplay, the developers kept the excitement going. They stayed engaged with the community, offering updates and expansions that kept players hooked long after the game's release. That global reach, combined with the massive Chinese market, was a key part of their incredible success. Now let's be real, creating a game like this isn't all smooth sailing. Game Science faced plenty of challenges. For starters, they were a small indie team tackling a project that could rival AAA games. Scaling up a small studio to meet global demand? Yeah, that's no easy task. They had to grow quickly, bring on new talent, and manage expectations. But perhaps the biggest challenge was striking the right balance between cultural authenticity and global appeal. They wanted to stay true to Chinese mythology while making sure the game resonated with players who might not be familiar with the story of Journey to the West. Imagine trying to explain the Monkey King to someone who's never heard of him before. Yeah, so there's this super powerful monkey who can fly, shapeshift, and cause havoc. Oh, and he's got a magical staff. Easy, right? No pressure. What's more, Black Myth Wukong isn't just about one game. It's a symbol of what the Chinese gaming industry is capable of. For years, China's gaming scene was dominated by mobile games and MMOs, which stands for massively multiplayer online games. Fun, but lacking the high budget. Cinematic quality of AAA titles. But Wukong is a total game changer. Literally. Game science is proving that China can produce world-class AAA games that can go head-to-head with the biggest names in the West and win. And here's the kicker. Game science isn't alone. They're part of a wave of Chinese developers who are shaking up the global gaming scene. Black Myth Wukong could be just the start of a new golden age for Chinese game development. In the end, Wukong shows us that sometimes the most groundbreaking innovations come from the most unexpected places. So, have you played it yet? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more game-changing content like this.